Born and raised in the city of Compton, I am Black Popcorn. And I want you guys to know who I am. This is my new channel. I just got it cracking. Um, I done some pretty terrible videos, and I done something that I'm a little bit proud of. But right now, I am laser focused on Kamala Harris. Most of my video content will be about politics or boxing, but mainly politics. Maybe 99% politics. There are big fights I will be doing videos on, but I'm not really into the boxing thing as far as content. I'm a fan, but this political thing, I had to get involved. I've been a Democrat my whole adult life. I've voted Democrat. I've never even considered, and it's a bit of a brainwashing, and I can attribute that to my mother. I guess she was basically saying Republicans are racist. And, when you get that locked in your head, like probably many of you black people do, you believe that Republicans are racist. But if you take a Republican white person and then you take a Democratic white person, you put them next to each other and they don't tell you what they are. And you just have to follow them around and watch what they do and all. You probably wouldn't know the difference. They all live the same type of lives. And the things that they battle over are minuscule compared to what we're required to fight and beg and whine. And keep saying fight, and they use these words like fight. And when I say they, I'm speaking of the politicians, the black politicians and politicians that we elect in office to go and represent us. We get them in the office, and we think we're fighting because we went down to the voting polls and voted. So that's our fight. They got us locked in mentally, believing that that's our part of the fight. When the democracy is going to be lost, or when the financial institutions are collapsing, they go to black people, trusty black people, to get those Democrats back in office so they can get the country back restored and save that democracy with the help of the black people again. And that's our reward, is to know that we're comfortably being resisted, that we're comfortably being uh, treated badly, but it's comfortable. It's a level we can tolerate, so we don't kick too bad. Slavery was also a something that we could tolerate. We tolerated for a few hundred years, so it isn't like we couldn't tolerate it. But do you want to tolerate it? Do you want surrogates to keep popping up like Obama and Kamala, and they say it to your face? They say it in debates. They say it openly. I am against reparations. And the only thing I think about is that they are not African Americans, descendants of slaves. So maybe they are against reparations. Maybe they look at that like, I think Obama's take was pretty much what the Democratic Party take is. And I have no reason to believe Kamala's is any different. But I believe the take is the country isn't ready for that. And the fact is, if the country isn't ready for that in 2024 and slavery ended in 1865, they say, then why in the hell will they ever be ready? And that's what Obama is basically saying. This country wasn't built to repair its slaves. This country wasn't even built to release them. They had to have an internal war and almost destroy itself over slaves. That's how valuable those slaves were, us. That's what a part of this country we are. And now we're like an afterthought, or they want to pretend we are. And everything we go after, every endeavor that we go for or participate in, they're right there behind us, trying to control the contracts or the rules, or some part of it. When we everything that we do, we could do it for ourselves, but we choose to integrate. We choose to live close to our master, as opposed to some other immigrants who've come into the country, and they don't have to nuzzle up that close to white people to get the benefits of what the white people can give them. But there are no and have been no benefits for us. The biggest thing that ever happened to us is that they actually released us. And do you guys realize that, was it Biden made the Juneteenth holiday? Do you guys actually realize that people in Texas were free for 2 years, and other places? Let me not say it like that. It didn't just happen in one place. It didn't just happen after two. After that 2 year Juneteenth thing, it was still people picking cotton and working fields and working in people's houses for free. It went on for a long time after slavery, depending on what part of the country you lived in, or who your slave owner was, or what the intent of the white people were, because they pretty much was running this country. It wasn't as heavily regulated. It was impossible for them to do those things, so they self-regulated. They made their own laws. They made their own rules. They took land from people and went down to the court building and got it registered. Well, how do you do that? Because the land belonged to one of them black people, which they call them other things. I don't even want to say that word on my show, and I use it in real life. I just don't want to project that kind of word out there without a whole lot of context, or in a conversation, or with somebody I can put my hands around their neck and straighten them out and let them know that that isn't how I meant it or anything like that. Because I never meant it in a derogatory sense. I consider myself one in the most positive way. I don't know if some people can understand that, but I do. But man, when I grew up in Compton in the 70s and 80s. And during the time when I grew up there, I remember us being such a huge numbers, and there would be a classroom with two or three Mexicans in it in the 70s, and you'd be like, "Whoa!" And sometimes they didn't speak English. Sometimes they just got here. Sometimes they were second or third generation, but they were really quiet. They were to themselves. We outnumbered them hugely. We never really got into fights with them. I remember in middle school when the Mexican population started getting a little bigger, there was a little scrapping going on, but not too much because we our numbers was thick, so it wasn't too much of that. And we got along with them pretty well. And I see it now. I remember when the counties and the municipalities and the cities were run by black people, and the Mexicans came into those communities, and we provided for them the same way we provided for ourselves. And it was not with a lot, because black communities always been kind of like really dumps. So yeah, we brought other immigrants in as business owners and as citizens, and they figured it out, or they weren't being resisted, or something happened. But after being here, I'm like counting 1865 because that's when slaves. So let's count from that point. Any reparations beyond that point is $1 trillion off the bat. That's just cash money. Now anything after that, let's we can work it out where the country doesn't have to worry about coming out the checkbook. The country can give black people tax exemption free on everything, every purchase, houses, cars. Black people, 100%. That's just how it is, because they have been robbed of the right to vote, robbed of the right to get paid proper wages, cheated out of wages, worked for no wages, worked against their will. I mean, had property stolen from them, insurmountable, had their lives taken. And that was the top of the ticket, no matter what era we've been in, including today, the murders that are still taking place, because white people in this country are so racist that they don't believe that we are capable of policing ourselves. They don't believe that from the highest ranking police official in a department all the way down to the cops on the street, it should look exactly like that community. Not just the cops, the bosses in there. Black people will not walk in your apartment and shoot you because they were afraid for their life because they see the back of a black man's head, or because the door is open and it's a black man who opens and they start shooting. Well, what did you knock on the door for? If you had training and you're a police officer and you knock on a door, you should have in your head, when that doorknob turns, it could be danger, it could be, but you don't. When the doorknob turns and you see a black face, and you know you're in Compton, and you know you're in Chicago, and you know you're where black people are, and you act like a tiger escaped from the zoo. You close your eyes and just start shooting, and you get in a courtroom and you get that qualified immunity that Donald Trump is for. I don't know what the hell that's all about. He's straight tripping. Anybody who believes that a police officer can kill you and get away with it just because it's like he was doing it in the course of his duty, and he feared for they fear for their life that much. White police officers should not work around black people. Well, that sound racist. Well, it sound more racist for them to work around us. So they should go, all of them, every one of them. And if you got a predominantly Hispanic community, the police in that community should be Hispanic. They should not be white. They should not be black. They should not be Asian. The police force should be run and managed by that community. Korean communities, same thing. I'm sure you can find men in that community who would be glad to stand up, step up, and take that responsibility as opposed to continuously marching for you guys to change laws that you're never going to change because white police officers are racist and they continuously kill the citizens in the United States and you guys allow it. So with that being said, we got to move on. We got to unite black people. We can't keep taking these surrogates into our communities. Absolutely not. No one else does it. And we can't be asked to do that either. Makes no sense. Kamala, for those of you who support her and are willing to fight with other black people over her, she has admitted she is not black. She knows it. She won't say it. She lets you guys say it for her, which is just plain insanity. And we have to stop doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. We have to. If you guys are angry because you hear people talking bad about Kamala Harris, it isn't because we're going to vote for Donald Trump. It's we're trying to get you guys to understand if you love her so much, then talk her into supporting reparations or supporting tax-free lifestyles for black people and talk her into that kind of stuff. And then you got my support. And I know a lot of people like me, our biggest problem is she's not willing to reciprocate. And a vote is as important to her as a donor's check. It's just as important. That table does not stand on three legs. And if our vote is not that important, then quit coming to our communities and pandering for us and let us go vote for someone else. But our vote is important, and we know you know it is. So come on, you guys, let's push her. You guys who love her so much, you guys who feel she's such a wonderful person and care about us, push her and make her get up there at these black rallies free of all these rappers and this extracurricular distraction that we don't need and speak to us about what you're going to do specifically for us, not for people that make less than, and not for people who've been, and not, no, specifically for black people because you're pretending to specifically be a black person. And with that, we'll see you on the next one. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.